60 American fighter jets gone, just sitting on the ground at one of the most heavily guarded military bases on the planet. That's the claim coming out of the Middle East right now. And whether you believe it or not, what actually happened at Al-Udeid Air Base in Qatar is something the mainstream media is barely talking about. Welcome to John A.G. Reports. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button right now, because we cover the stories that matter, the ones that shape the world, and we don't sugarcoat them. Like this video, if you want more coverage on the Iran war. It helps us reach more people who need to see this. Let's go back to the beginning, because to understand what just happened at Al-Udeid, you need to understand how we even got here. This war didn't start with a random missile. It started on February 28, 2026, when the United States and Israel launched a massive coordinated surprise attack on Iran. They hit military sites, government compounds, and command centers across the country. And in those first strikes, Iran's supreme leader Ali Khamenei was killed. That changed everything because Iran didn't have a choice anymore. There was no diplomatic exit ramp, no back channel to call. The gloves came off, and Iran began doing something it hadn't done in years. It started hitting back with everything it had. Within hours, Iran launched what it called Operation True Promise 4. Ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, explosive drones, hundreds of them aimed at American military bases, Gulf state infrastructure, Israeli cities, and energy facilities across the region. This wasn't a warning shot. This was a full-scale military retaliation unlike anything seen in decades. And sitting right in the middle of all of this was Al-Udeid Air Base in Qatar. Now, if you don't know what Al-Udeid is, let me paint the picture for you. This is the single largest American military base in the entire Middle East. It sits about 25 miles outside of Doha, Qatar's capital. It's the forward headquarters of U.S. Central Command. It typically hosts around 10,000 American service members, and it's the operational nerve center for everything the U.S. military does in the region. This is the base from which American bombers launch their strikes on Iran. This is the base where intelligence operations are coordinated. This is the brain of the American military presence in the Gulf. And Iran knew exactly what it was. So Iran targeted it repeatedly, aggressively, and with escalating intensity as the war dragged on. The first confirmed strike on Al-Udeid came on March 3, 2026. Qatar's own defense ministry confirmed it. One Iranian ballistic missile slipped through the air defense systems, while a second was intercepted. Now, the Pentagon was careful in how it described the damage. They said there were no casualties. They were very quiet about what exactly was hit. Here's what investigative reports and satellite imagery started revealing. The missile, or a follow-up drone from a related wave, appeared to target the ANFP S-132 early warning radar system stationed near Al-Udeid at a location called Dal. This is a billion-dollar radar. It's a massive phased array system capable of tracking ballistic missiles coming from up to 5,000 kilometers away. It feeds data into THAAD, Patriot batteries, and allied defense networks across the entire Gulf region. Think about what that means. Iran didn't just lob a missile at a random building. Iran targeted the eyes of the American air defense system in the Middle East. If that radar goes dark, U.S. forces lose their early warning capability. Intercepting the next wave of missiles becomes dramatically harder. It was a precision strike designed not just to destroy, but to blind. And it gets more dramatic because 2 days before the confirmed hit on Al-Udeid, something even more audacious happened. Something that would have been unthinkable just weeks earlier. On the morning of March 2nd, Iran's Revolutionary Guard dispatched 2 Soviet-era Su-24 tactical bombers toward Al-Udeid Air Base in Roslafen, Qatar's critical natural gas processing facility. These were manned aircraft carrying actual bombs and guided munitions flying toward an American base. And here's the detail that sent shockwaves through military circles. These bombers were flying at an altitude of just 80 ft above the ground. That's below the radar threshold. They were hugging the earth, trying to sneak in under cars, air defense network. And they almost made it 2 minutes. That's how close they came. 2 minutes away from their targets. When Qatar finally scrambled its F-15 fighters, a Qatari F-15 engaged the Iranian bombers in what became the Qatari Air Force's first ever aerial combat engagement. The Iranian aircraft were shot down and crashed into Qatari territorial waters. Qatar's foreign ministry immediately launched a search for the crews. U.S. General Dan Caney, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, confirmed the incident at a Pentagon briefing. He told reporters that Qatari fighters had for the first time shot down 2 Iranian bombers en route to their target. He didn't specify the target. He didn't need to. Everyone in that room knew exactly where those bombers were headed. Now let's talk about the broader picture, because Al-Uwadeh was just one piece of Iran's campaign. Simultaneously, Iran's IRGC Navy launched cruise missile strikes on fighter aircraft hangars at 2 more American installations, Sheikh Issa Air Base in Bahrain and Al Dhafra Air Base in the UAE. High-explosive cruise missiles targeting the hangars where American fighter jets were parked. Iran specifically called out Al Dhafra in the UAE as a priority target, claiming it was the launch point for recent U.S. strikes against Iranian islands. The IRGC confirmed that following these strikes, Al Dhafra's operational capacity had been, in their words, severely reduced. Now, Iranian state media claim that dozens of American aircraft were destroyed on the ground at these facilities. Western sources have not confirmed those exact numbers, but the fact that hardened aircraft hangars were hit with high explosive cruise missiles is not in dispute. This is the scenario military planners have feared for years. American air power depends on forward-deployed aircraft. Those aircraft are vulnerable on the ground. If Iran can reach inside the Gulf and hit hangars before those jets can scramble, America's ability to project air power in the region takes a serious blow. It's not science fiction anymore. It's what's happening right now. By the time Iran launched its 57th wave of Operation True Promise 4 on March 17th, the picture was even grimmer. The IRGC's Qatam al-Anbiya central headquarters confirmed another strike on Al-Uwad using a combination of Zulfiqar ballistic missiles, Cham liquid fuel missiles, and explosive drones. Iran was rotating through its entire missile arsenal systematically. Each wave was designed not just to cause damage, but to exhaust American and Gulf air defenses. And here's something the military analysts are watching very carefully. Iran has now fired more than 400 ballistic missiles and over 1,000 drones across the Gulf region since this war began. Most have been intercepted, but most is not all. And everyone that gets through teaches Iran's targeting teams what works. Every interception gives Iran data on how Western air defenses respond. This is not random. This is a learning campaign. U.S. casualties are mounting. 13 American service members had been killed as of mid-March, around 200 wounded. 6 died in a single drone strike at a makeshift operations center at Shuaia Port in Kuwait. On a separate occasion, a KC-135 Strat tanker crashed in western Iraq, killing all 6 crew members. And in a deeply embarrassing friendly fire incident, Kuwaiti FA-18s accidentally shot down 3 American F-15 East Strike Eagles. Fortunately, all 6 crew members survived. This is the chaos of a real war, and the American public is only getting fragments of it. The Pentagon is managing the information very carefully. They acknowledge casualties in careful clinical language. They confirm some strikes, but give no details on damage. They emphasize the number of Iranian missiles intercepted, while being very quiet about the ones that got through. Now let's address the elephant in the room, the claim that 60 American fighter jets were destroyed on the ground at Al-Uwad. Where does that number come from? It appears to have originated from Iranian state media claims and was amplified on social media. Western governments in the Pentagon have not confirmed the figure. What we do know is that Al-Uwad was hit, that radar infrastructure was damaged, that hangars at multiple Gulf bases were struck by cruise missiles, that Iran's stated goal is the complete destruction of what it calls American military infrastructure in the region. Whether the number is 60 or 6 or 16, the strategic message is the same. Iran is reaching inside America's most protected bases in the Middle East. It is demonstrating that distance and air defenses are not absolute guarantees, and it is signaling to every American ally in the region that hosting U.S. military forces comes at a price. Qatar is a fascinating case study in all of this. Qatar has historically maintained a balancing act, hosting 10,000 American troops at Al Udeid, while simultaneously maintaining warm ties with Iran and serving as a mediator between Tehran and Washington. Qatar even sheltered Hamas political leadership for years, but now Iran is firing missiles at Qatari airports, targeting Qatari industrial facilities and sending bombers over Qatari airspace. That balancing act just became much harder to sustain. Qatar responded by arresting 10 people it accused of being IRGC operatives on Qatari soil, including suspected spies and a sabotage cell trained to use drones. Qatar's prime minister called Iran's actions escalatory. He told Iran directly that this approach suggests Iran wants to drag its neighbors into a war that isn't theirs. The relationship between Doha and Tehran is fractured. The diplomatic bridge that Qatar spent decades building has just been bombed, literally. And what about the broader regional picture? The U.S. has now struck approximately 6,000 targets inside Iran since the war began. Iran's military and nuclear infrastructure has taken catastrophic damage. Supreme Leader Khamenei is dead, but Iran is still firing. Iran is still sending bombers. Iran is still launching the 57th, 58th, 59th wave of Operation True Promise. This is a regime fighting for its survival and choosing to make that fight as painful as possible for everyone in the region. The question the White House is wrestling with right now is, at what point does Iran run out of missiles? And the harder question, what happens if it doesn't run out before American public opinion turns? 13 dead, 200 wounded, bases being hit, friendly fire incidents, tankers disrupted, oil prices spiking. How long can the U.S. sustain this operationally, politically, and economically? These are the questions that don't fit neatly into a 3-minute news segment, which is exactly why we're here at John A.G. Reports, to give you the full picture, the deeper context, the things that actually matter, because this war is reshaping the Middle East in real time. And how it ends, or whether it ends, is going to affect energy prices, global trade, American foreign policy, and regional security for decades to come. What you're watching right now is history being made, and the story of Al-Wad, whether 60 jets were destroyed or 6, is a symbol of something much bigger. The era of untouchable American forward bases in the Middle East is over. Iran has proven it can reach them. The question now is what America does next. Before I wrap up, I want to hear from you. Do you think Iran can sustain this missile campaign long term, or is this the last major push before the regime collapses? Drop your answer in the comments right now. And if this video gave you information you didn't see anywhere else, share it with someone who needs to understand what's happening in the Middle East. That one share might be the reason they finally get the full story. This has been John A.G. Reports. Stay locked in. More coverage coming.